What if I told you 95% of successful cyber attacks could have been stopped by basic protection measures? Yet, most companies are running around the internet basically naked. Woo! Today, we're diving into the protect phase of the NIST CSF 2.0. This is where we stop being sitting ducks. We start being digital fortresses that make hackers cry into their energy drinks. So here's the brutal truth. The average company has 27 different ways hackers can break in. 27 different ways, but usually protects 3. That's like a house with 27 doors and you only locked the front one. Guess what? Burglars aren't that polite. This is why protect matters. You've identified your assets in phase 2. You've governed them in phase 1. Now it's time to guard them because treasure on the front lawn with a free stuff sign is not a strategy. The protect phase is about building layers. Onions like Shrek, parfaits like Donkey. Think of it like Iron Man's suit. One layer won't stop a missile, but multiple systems working together, now you're Tony Stark, not a cardboard box. Cybersecurity isn't a single wall. It's layers of obstacles, enough to make hackers say, too much work, let's go hit someone easier. That's the psychology of protection. I call them the 4 towers of making hackers regret their life choices. Tower number 1 is about access control. It's the digital bouncer. 80% of breaches involve stolen or weak credentials per Verizon's DBIR 2025 report. Access control is your cyber bouncer. It's going to check IDs. It stops Bob from accounting getting admin rights to the crown jewels. Zero trust, least privilege, and privilege audits keep the VIP section safe. Because sometimes the biggest risk isn't an outsider. It's Steve in HR with way too much access. Tower number 2 is data security, the digital vault. Your customer data is Fort Knox, or it should be. Encryption, segmentation, micro-segmentation, tested backups make data worthless to thieves. And backups only count if they're immutable and tested. In 2021, Colonial Pipeline paid a $4.4 million ransom, but they only recovered because they had backups. Without them, it would have been catastrophic. Protect the crown jewels. Encrypt everything that matters. Tower number 3 is awareness training. It's the human firewall. Here's the stat. 74% of breaches involve the human element, per Verizon's DBIR 2023 report. Tech can't stop Karen from clicking on a phishing link. That's where training matters. Good training doesn't just warn, it empowers. It turns your workforce into their own cyber detective unit. When employees brag about spotting scams instead of falling for them, man, that's a great culture. The 4th tower is protective technology. The digital arsenal, firewalls, EDR, endpoint detection and response, XDR, extended detection and response, MFA, multi-factor authentication. It's your weapons locker. And here's the secret weapon. It needs to start with MFA, multi-factor authentication. Used to be 2-factor authentication. They've modified it to a different acronym, because we all love acronyms. But multi-factor authentication can stop over 99% of account hacks, per the Microsoft Security Intelligence Report. Hackers hate MFA so much, they literally post rants about it across online forums. It's like locking your house with a key, a deadbolt, and a retina scan. It's annoying, right? I get it. But it's not annoying enough to not implement it because it's effective. I understand that somebody's going to listen to this and go, yeah, but you can still hack MFA. Yes, you absolutely can. However, it's definitely one of the biggest hurdles with the biggest ROI for your company. It doesn't cost a lot to turn it on. So cyber crooks are like gremlins. Bear with me here. They leave a system unpatched and they multiply. One weak spot becomes hundreds of infections, one outdated VPN, a company wide incident. The protect phase is gremlin repellent. Patch management, multi factor authentication, firewall rules. Each control blocks entire categories of attacks. So here's why this matters. Companies that implement a layered protection reduce breach risk by 80% per IBM in 2024. It's not theory, it's math. Every extra barrier increases attackers' cost and effort. That's defense in depth. That's resilience. Your protect phase mission briefing looks like this: MFA everywhere, single sign on if you can also use it. It's annoying, but being hacked is far, far worse. Audit access, least privileged, remove excessive rights, encrypt all your sensitive data, and assume plain text equals already stolen. Train your humans, regular, engaging, gamify it. Deploy protective technology like firewalls, endpoint detection and response, or EDRs, and monitoring. Perfect security doesn't exist, but good enough to make hackers go somewhere else. That is your win. So protect is where the fight gets real. It's where IT stops being a checklist. It becomes your fortress. Remember, you're not trying to be unhackable. You're trying to be more trouble than you're worth. Build layers, train your humans, lock your vault, make hackers regret picking you. This is the Cyber Pro. Smash subscribe, extend those T-Rex arms, and get ready for the next phase detect. Because what good is a fortress without cameras to see who's sneaking in?